That's bad.
All right, what's up guys? Out here in the garage at almost midnight to get back to work on this Fiero. Now, if you remember where we left off in the last video, we were right on the cusp of trying to fire this thing up for the first time in like, I don't know, about a year, give or take. And we failed. So what was happening was our handheld here would not connect to the ECU at all. And I checked a few things, thought that the ECU was bricked, and I was like, dang it, that really sucks. Talked to a buddy, and he was like, hey, I saw a post, guy was having a similar issue. He said, unplug all of the sensors and see if that helps. So I unplugged the coils, the IAC, TPS, map sensor, crank sensor, and gave it switch to power. And lo and behold, it connected to the ECU. Huge progress. That was awesome. I was able to actually navigate the menu, put like a wizard bass tune in it. It was sweet. And slowly plugged the sensors all back in one at a time. And what I found was the map sensor was what was making it freak out. I'd plug the map sensor back in, it would lose connection, and things would get all wonky. I would unplug it. It'd be like, oh, hey, what's up, dude? Yeah, sorry about that. Little freak out. So what I ended up doing was tracing the wires and swapping the, there's a 5-volt reference signal and the other two that I ended up swapping. And it seems to work now. However, at that point I was able to try to start it again. Noticed, one, I have a couple leaky O-ring injector O-rings, and more importantly, I have no spark. So I have spent basically the entire day, well, truthfully not the entire day, ran down to the lumber yard to get some wood for a lean-to that I'm going to be putting together probably tomorrow, which is why I'm out here now messing with this. But a good chunk of the day was spent just investigating why this thing has no spark. I've got 12 volt at the coils. All the plugs and everything seem good. I thought maybe it was a bad ground, so I ran ground right from the cable at the head over to the battery. Still not looking great. So I think what I'm going to do now is pull the entire Aces kit off the car. I'm not going to get rid of it just yet. I'm not going to throw it in the trash because I think that the spark issue is fixable, but I don't want to spend another week right now just troubleshooting wiring. I want this thing to run. And it ran with a stock ECU on it. So that's what we're going to do, is we're going to pull this kit off, shelf it, might use it on Pops' Mustang because we're both kind of itching to get that thing just thrown together, real budget turbo LS. We're going to use a stock ECU on that, but we might try and make this Aces kit work on that. I don't know. We'll cross that bridge when we float there. So last night I ordered a Chinese harness off of Amazon that was a blistering $73. Those things really came down in price. I remember when we LS swapped my buddy Dustin's Cadillac, we used a PSI harness on that, and he paid like $500 for that, 500 or 550, something like that. And then I used a stock harness in the RX-7 briefly. That was like $160. Then we did the Dime a Dozen S10. The harness for that was $92, I think. And now the same harness is now $73. And I did see some for $68.99, but just didn't have the cojones to try that one, even though I bet it's all from the same factory. So I'm going to start pulling this all off the car and start slapping that on, and hopefully we can hear this thing run. The computer does still have a base tune for this same engine combo. The injectors are a little different. It'll be off a little bit, but should be enough to fire up and idle, which might be in the morning because it's very late right now. So, enough rambling. I'm going to start pulling this whole harness off the car. And just like that... Ow. And just like that, we're no longer gamblers. Wow. Look how clean and empty it is. Alright, I'm going to get that unboxed. There's a couple things that I'm going to have to move around in the harness. TPS and IAC. I think everything else should be fine. So I'm going to get that open and start throwing that on. Get the ECU back in the corner to hide that little rust spot that I'll probably never fix. And then, like I said, in the morning, I'll probably try it tonight just to see if there's spark. But in the morning, we'll really try and actually fire this thing up. And boom, check that out. Aside from switched ignition, or switch 12 volt, this thing's all wired back up. We're just running the switch 12 volt directly to the battery by use of a super efficient wire nut. And now we can check spark, make sure that's chilling. I had to reroute the IAT or IC and TPS. Those initially came out over here by the battery. Just cut the tape, peeled that deal back, taped the harness back up. Looks, basically brand new. So I'm going to throw you guys up on the tripod and we can see if we've got spark. Yeah, I can kind of see the camera from over here. All right, spark is Gucci. So now I need to fix 2 injector O-rings for these guys. You can still kind of see where they were leaking, or that they were leaking, I guess. All the other ones seem good. And then once I get that fixed, we can actually try to start this thing up. I would try and start it anyway and just deal with the leak, but it was gushing out. So, don't really feel like burning the garage down. 2024, the year of responsibility is what some claim. So, I'm going to go to bed. And then tomorrow, I'm sure I'll still be just as ambitious to work on this thing, and we'll be able to hear it run. See ya. All right, it is not the next morning. It's like 2 or 3 days later because we decided to get started on the horse barn. So that's been fun. But I just got the, pretty sure I just got the injectors fixed on this. The 2 top O-rings on these first 2 injectors. One was the wrong size and the other one had like a chunk out of it. So I just replaced those with the top O-ring off of some stock TBSS injectors. The O-rings for those were too big, so I had to slowly and very gingerly shave a little bit off the outside, which, I don't know. I just tested it and let it get up to pressure and run for a second. I don't see any leaks. I don't feel any leaks, so we seem at least decent enough to try and start this thing. So let's see if we can finally hear this thing run. Let's try and start it. I'm sure the tune's way off because the injectors are different than what I had in here last time, but we're close. I might have to just let it idle. We've got a vacuum leak or something somewhere. All right, just check the oil. just to make sure that that's not what the clattering was, that it was too low or something. That seems good. It might, I put a little bit in, it might actually be a little over full now, but that's fine, turbo. I think it just needs to run and pump up, pretty common with these LSs, especially since this one hasn't run in basically since last winter. So I think the reason, aside from the injectors being different than in the tune, I would change it. My laptop's dead and I kind of want to just get something filmed enough, you know, to get this video up today. But I think another part of it is I think I'm going to have to change this throttle body. I think the opening on the intake here is a little bigger than our throttle body. So I think there could be a leak somewhere. So we'll try again. I tightened the intake down to the heads. Like I said, put a little bit more oil in it. We'll see if we can let this thing idle for a little bit and get some temperature in it, you know. Well, not too much because we don't have any water in it, but just let it run and actually hear the exhaust and the cam and everything. And started. I think that might be all we got for right now. All right, it's been a while since I've uploaded a video because there's just been a lot of stuff going on around here and a lot of stupid stuff. Speaking of stupid, we got this dang car. So, got the aces pulled off of it, got the stock ECU back on it, and it ran and briefly idled. Didn't run great. The injector data was all wrong. I'm pretty sure there was a vacuum leak between the old throttle body and this because the opening on that was huge and the stock one's like 78 millimeters or something. So it wasn't running great, but it ran. So I flashed a new tune in it with the proper injector data. Obviously, made some modifications to bolt this throttle body to it and got that sealed up. Everything's looking good there. Now, after I flashed the tune and changed the throttle body, it lost spark. Can't explain it. So I started checking some things. Checked the power at the crank sensor plug. There was no 12 volt there. Interesting. So I checked the wire, like continuity tested each end. Had continuity. There wasn't a break in the wire or anything like that. For whatever reason, the ECU just decided to stop sending 12 volt to the crank sensor. Still had it at the cam sensor. Can't really explain it. So, was checking a few different things on that, trying to figure it out. Finally said, screw it, just for the sake of testing. Let me cut that wire and just add my own 12 volt right from the battery, which is what I was using for the switched power wire. Right here. So, wire tapped all those together, cranked it over. Now I had RPM signal. I could see spark on the tester there, but it's still not firing up. And I don't know why. So, I don't know if it's something in the ECU or somehow something in the tune, going from the wrong injector data to the correct injector data somehow made it not want to fire them. Because I know I've got spark, compression, you can kind of hear it while cranking over. I don't know. It is the damnedest thing. But it has been a week or so of just fiddling with this thing and working on the barn, which you can see that down there. Got that up, little 30 by 15 I still have to enclose this room. That's going to be like a tack room and dry storage for the hay and stuff like that. But this is going to be a run-in for the horses, and this is just like an open lean-to area. So, like I said, there's been a lot going on, a lot of stupid stuff going on, and that is all equated to not posting a video in like a week and a half. And then yesterday, I was like, well, I know that the oxygen sensor in the Skylark is bad, so let me replace that real quick with one that I've got. Obviously, jack the car up, pulled the O2 sensor off, and the one on the car is the 7-blade Holley one. The one that I have is the LSU 49. I have no idea where the freaking little adapter harness is that Holley sends with their kits. I have no clue. I got the headlights wired. I got the tail lights also wired. Or no, I got the brake lights wired. I need to run that and connect it into the harness for the tail lights. And then that'll be, I'm gonna call it good enough. And since that is Jess's Fiero and Jess's barn, I'm very close to just saying, you know what, to heck with it, and pushing her car in her barn and being like, time to work on the 55, because I'm sick of this car. I feel like it has to be an ECU thing, right? Because they went from running, flash the ECU, now it won't run. It's got to be an ECU thing. And the thing that really sucks is that it didn't run long enough before to really, really pump up oil pressure to hear if everything internally is okay. Like, I slapped this motor together real quick in the middle of winter, like 2 winters ago, I think. I did plastic gauge everything. I'm pretty confident in it, but, you know, stupid stuff just happens. So there was a noise when it was idling that I think was just the lifter's not being pumped up. But until I can let this thing really run and build up oil pressure, I won't know for sure, which sucks. That's like the main thing that I wanted to do, is just let it idle for like a minute. I might take the ECU inside and put it on my little like bench harness and see if I can flash it like that. Maybe there's something interfering when it's hooked to the car. I don't know. I did read someone else saying that sometimes there's like interference in those situations. There shouldn't be in this situation, because the only thing that is hooked to the car is where it goes to the battery and where it has the ground. Nothing else is really hooked up. I'm also really debating. I said that yesterday I was going to buy the EFI Source gold light box for this, but I just hate spending money so much when it's like, I've got a buddy with some stock ECUs. If it's just an ECU issue, I'll splice that wire back together, throw a new ECU in it, and there you go, send it. That's literally the only reason I haven't bought the gold light for it. And, you know, I've never done anything with Mega Squirt, so there's a little bit of nerves there. If Holleys weren't so damn expensive, I would have already bought a Holley for it. But Jesus, just a basic Terminator X drive-by cable 24X is $13.50 shipped, which is just stupid. And then yesterday, Sunday, was also, I believe, the last test and tune at Stanton, Mid-Michigan Motorplex. And we wanted to take Jack to that because I welded up the charge pipe solid so that it can't blow that coupler off again. We got a couple other things figured out on that, and we were hoping to try and get a 9 out of that fat pig. But it was raining literally all day. So hopefully we can at least make it to US 131 one more time this year just to get some times. But yeah, it'd be nice to, I have to check their schedule. I don't know if they're even having any more because it's the middle of October. It'd be nice to make it to one more test and tune and try and get a 9 out of Jack this year. Yeah, and then basically just spend all winter trying to build some stuff. Pops' Mustang, we're still on the fence about getting rid of it, throwing it together real quick, what we want to do with that. I think that we could throw a real basic setup in that, like a stock 5.3 with a cam and like a 78, 75. I've got 2 on my shelf. I've got a Power Glide here with a brake, and I think that'd be a mid 9-second car pretty easily. And then really after that, just focus on the 55, because I've got pretty much everything to get the suspension and brakes done and get the 8.8 swapped in it and get this thing sitting where we want it. I got the ladder bars, the double adjustable coilovers, tubular A-arms, again double adjustable coilovers for up front, disc brake kit. Obviously the 8.8 has disc brakes, got new wheels for it. I got onboard air. I need obviously fuel system, which I've got injectors and I've got pumps, but I need lines, regulator, just a handful of little things here and there, you know, nothing real crazy. I think the only remaining like big ticket items are I've got to build the Turbo 400, get a drive shaft made, radiator. I need a harness for the Holly. I've got an HP ECU. Got an intercooler, need a radiator, I think I said that. This motor should be totally ready to go. Anyway, that is our boring Ramble Fest update. That, yeah, I was really hoping to post a video of just firing this thing up. Runs great. Yeah, big success, but god damn, man. It is so hard to catch a win around here lately. Fucked up Jack at the track the other day. This thing's a real pain in the ass. 2 different EFI systems are giving me trouble. Maybe I don't know what the hell I'm doing anymore. Have barely even touched the Chevelle. Barely put any miles on the Skylark since I got the hood for it. Jeez, man. This sucks. Anyway, that is where we're going to end the video here because it's been a long time since I posted. Figured I'd get something up. That way people aren't like, yo, you still alive? Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing, clicking that bell to get notifications. I'll see you next time.